Hey everyone, Hydra Hood here, and this is the Venom that I've been waiting for like 6 issues. This is Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman. Um, oh man, Stegman is just such a good artist for Venom, and Cates is doing some fantastic writing. This has a digital code, so if you stick through it long enough, first person to see it gets it. Apparently, there's I don't know if the bonus is the fact that there is a digital version or if the digital edition has bonus content. Don't know. You can find that out yourself. So, about the book though, man, so it is way, way more, I think, fitting for Venom than the last couple runs have been. But it absolutely 100% throws everything out that Costa and Bagley were doing. That whole nativity story, pointless, absolutely pointless right now. Means nothing, is nothing. Yeah, pretty much everything that Costa did is absolutely pointless now because of this book. And that kind of bugs me simply because I put all that time and money into it. But you know, if you've been reading comics for a while, that's just kind of something that tends to happen. They'll be going with an idea, decide it isn't working, and then just take a huge left turn and never cover it again. That's one of the big problems with Tim Drake, one of the fucking literally most popular Robins ever, and they just randomly decided to replace him with Damian, and now he's just a fucking worthless side character. Anyway, I'll stop digressing. Let's just jump into Venom. Again, this is still Eddie Brock Venom, and man, is the art fantastic. So what this one's doing is it's jumping into basically Venom's past, pre-Spider-Man finding him. We see these Vikings trying to break down a castle, trying to hold back a door in their castle for being broken down. One thing I want to point out is Stegman was accurate on, maybe not historically accurate, but he was far more accurate with the Vikings than most people are. A lot of people put horns on Vikings, which is, very Hollywood. It's also very inaccurate. Vikings didn't have horned helmets. So I thought that was cool. And it turns out that it's some sort of freaking symbiote monster that's trying to break through. They're calling for Beowulf, then, obviously their hero. And then it manages to basically break through and just start pulling them up into the sky, essentially. It's saying something in a language we can't understand, and it looks freaking massive. And that's when we get a loud thunderclap, and I kind of like this version of Eddie Brock. So he actually kind of looks like the racist dude from the Moon Knight comic. That what's that freaking terrible musician who's writing Moon Knight right now? The guy who can't sell an album, so he had to get into comics, and he's really not that great of a writer, so he does a bunch of publicity shit where he just smack talks people. Whatever. The current author of Moon Knight. This kind of looks like the racist dude that was in that. It's Eddie Brock though, and it's just, I'm guessing, the lighting that makes his hair look like this. I honestly kind of prefer classic Eddie with the blonde hair, but this is supposed to be more of a very troubled, drug addicted Eddie Brock. His symbiote is now suddenly on the fritz. It's becoming extremely violent, randomly just losing itself basically. Eddie wakes up and it's not with him. It's over hiding in the corner. He thinks it's scared of the thunder. He's trying to calm it down. He's like, it's not the thunder, Eddie. It's the dream. Did you see the monster? And they start talking about how the fact they didn't even know that the symbiote could dream. And then Eddie walks into the bathroom, grabs his drugs, and takes them. And the symbiote is freaking out because these antipsychotics basically shut him out of Eddie's mind. And this particular bit, I did not like. It's well written, it's well done, but it just seems so pointless. I mean, we just got done fixing the symbiote relationship, and now it's suddenly right back to where it was. But it is Venom, so this is where I'm really conflicted on my feelings towards the story. Classic opening thing. I kind of wish they'd done something a little more impressive. I know it's kind of fitting for Venom, but I think it would have been cool if they'd done like a whole bunch of the dark web pattern in the back, or maybe like a cityscape covered with webs, and like some of the bad symbiotes cruising down. I don't know, just something a little more exciting than Black Page. But anyway, Cates, Stegman, Mayer, and Martin. Mad props to those guys. They're doing a great job. Yeah, check that out. So there's a disturbance down in a warehouse, and Eddie decides he's going to go ahead and go down there with his symbiote. Apparently, while on antipsychotics, he still has full control of the power. He just can't hear what the symbiote is saying. I don't know if that means it, like, puts the symbiote to sleep, or if it just nulls his mind so he can't hear it, and he's basically just enslaving it during that time. But he pops into this... well, they show the inside of this building where these criminals are, and it's a fake jack-o'-lantern. That was his name, right? Yeah, jack-o'-lantern. Fake him, some dude in a bear costume, and an armadillo costume, and a warthog. And they're basically doing a gun trade, but it all turns out to go wrong. Cops are actually there, and it's not Venom that's watching it. And that's when we find out that Eddie's not really a superhero anymore. He's just back to being a photographer and trying to earn some money, because there's no money in superheroing, guys. It's all for the broke. Also, kind of like this was making me think this was just going to be a fucking no fight, no Venom, stupid story about getting over drug addiction. But it gets better, so don't let that jade you just there. The cops basically fail to stop the burglary. Jack-o'-lantern manages to get away, and that's when the symbiote takes control. Eddie's trying to fight it, but it just won't listen to him. The guy sees that it's Venom, and he's like, oh, okay, good, it's just you. I'm not going to die. But it's not Venom. So that's when he starts freaking out, realizing that he is about to die, and there is nothing he can do about it. The cops show up. Eddie's like, no, not the cops. And then that's when we see the current incarnation of Venom. This just crazy, demented-looking creature here. Very cool. Kind of mixed feelings. But anyway, it absolutely wrecks shop on the cops. And does some sort of crazy, weird... Like, I don't understand what happens here. It's got this, like, bubble aura, and then this horn comes out and starts beeping, and then there's this, like, huge green fiery explosion with the Thanos thum. Some shit went down, that's for sure. And then we get Eddie waking back up. He has no idea what happened. He's freaking out. The symbiote's freaking out. Apparently he had no control over what happened. And Eddie's been captured by some random dude and is chained up. This guy seems to know a lot about symbiotes, and he's questioning Eddie, and he knows more about Eddie than he really should. While this is happening, Eddie's basically talking in his mind to a symbiote. They're going to try and sneak up on this guy and get themselves free, but they can't. They can't get the drop on this dude, and that's when they find out that he was one of the original symbiote soldiers. And there's actually a whole crew of them. Goes on this big thing pointing out the fact that Eddie really doesn't know anything about his symbiote. He claims that it's his other. He claims to care about it, but he never bothered to learn his name, never bothered to learn where it's from, if it prefers human, what its favorite food is, anything about it. It's just a power source that he abuses. And that kind of gets Eddie thinking. The guy makes a proposition and wants him to come work for him. He offers to train him how to really make best use of the symbiote, and all he really needs him to do is help him save his friends who are about to be taken out and put down because their use is over. Eddie agrees. Symbiote agrees. They want to fix this issue. That's when we get back to the fucking old school Venom. So I do like this Eddie Brock. I like how rugged and whatnot he is, but he very much looks like a drug addict, and that bugs me. So he's standing in this underground hallway that S.H.I.E.L.D. uses for transporting things. And they're hauling this truckload of these symbiote soldiers that they're going to put down. Eddie's standing in the road. There's some banter back and forth about homeless people that made me laugh. Basically, they decide they're just going to run him down. That's when Eddie goes full Venom. And just, look at this. Look at this picture. That's fantastic. This is what I want to see in Venom books. And this is why I slowly stopped caring that everything from the past was absolutely pointless and meant nothing. Great scene where Eddie's wrecking shop and being classic Venom. He goes to save the guys in the back of the truck. Turns out they're all freaked out and crazy as well. They just start chanting at him and walking forward. And that's when the symbiote leaves Eddie and basically abandons him. He's like, well, I guess I'm going to die then. And he just fucking goes in for the attack. Gets pierced through the stomach. And now we're going to take a break so that I can show you guys the digital code. So, I don't know if you're really actually getting anything special with this or if it really is just the digital code. Alright, marvel.com/redeem. Punch this in, get a free comic. Maybe 2? I don't know. If there's something special in there, though, let me know, because I have no idea. Anyway, Eddie doesn't actually die. He's just standing there watching what happens. Those guys go back into the truck. Something basically steals the symbiotes off of their bodies and just leaves these lifeless corpses. Eddie's symbiote is now back, saying he had no choice. The things made him leave. It couldn't prevent it from happening. Eddie demands to know what they're saying, and basically says that God is coming. And then we get this ending page with this big winged demon in the sky, which we can assume is the god of symbiotes, which is probably what ate all those Norsemen at the beginning. It's a pretty good cliffhanger, pretty good story. Excited to see proper Venom again. A little sour that I put all that time and money into Costa and Bagley's run. I mean, I like Bagley's art, and Costa was passable in writing, and to be completely honest, I didn't like the nativity at all. So I don't know why I'm bothered, but highly recommend this. It's going to be good. Case is legit. Thanks for watching. Hell Hydra, baby.